All right, let's get started. Today is going to be a little different than usual. I'm going to answer some questions about the PPP loan, specifically about forgiveness, that a lot of the self-employed have been asking me. I posted in my private Facebook group asking people for questions, and I also posted on the community tab in YouTube. What I'm going to go over in the beginning of the video is a little bit of those frequently asked questions, the ones that keeps coming up again and again. Also, at the end, I wanted to touch on just a little bit of what you can expect over these next couple of weeks and months, because honestly, there's some changes right now happening with the PPP loan. Again, even more changes, and I want to make sure that you spend the money properly and get almost all of it forgiven if possible. All right, let's jump right in. I have all the questions right here. First question comes from Steve. Steve asks, what's the biggest loan I could get? The way that it works for independent contractors, self-employed, sole proprietors, the largest PPP loan amount you should have been able to get is $20,833. Now let that sink in, because some people got more than that. That means the bank's messed up. I've been on multiple calls with people who have asked for my help, and they bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year. But that line 31 on the Schedule C, that's what it's based off of. So the cap there should have been $100,000. And $100,000 divided by 12 times 2.5 is $20,833. Now there's some good news here, Steve. The good news is that $15,385 are supposed to be automatically eligible for forgiveness based on the owner's compensation replacement amount. The remaining $5,448 is what can be forgiven if it's spent on approved expenses that we'll get into in a little bit. Okay, next question is from Anne. Anne is asking about the documentation you need to prove your expenses. For the expenses, I did make another video all about how you can make sure you're tracking and proving what you need. Specifically for the rent, the mortgage interest, the utilities, they're going to look for things like statements, leases, receipts of payment. Get all that documentation ready, and when you submit it for forgiveness, you can send everything in. Okay, next question comes from Nala. Nala's asking, can I use the entire PPP loan to cover my payroll? Self-employed, independent contractor, sole proprietor? The answer is no. To be clear, the maximum amount that I mentioned earlier, that's what would be able to be forgiven if you're showing $100,000 on line 31. Now, I know I've called the SBA, you've called the SBA, they keep changing all the rules, but what I'm telling you right now is that owner compensation replacement amount is a max of that $15,000 and some change, or that calculation, which is your Schedule C line 31 divided by 52 times 8. Basically, you are allowed to take whatever's smaller of those two numbers. If you're not sure or you don't believe me, check out the loan forgiveness application and calculate some of those worksheets ahead of time right now. Okay, next question comes from our Facebook group. And if you haven't joined that, I'll leave a link down below in the comments. Adriana asks, what exactly can we expense under transportation utilities? If you're an owner-operator, can diesel fuel be an approved expense? Okay, so Adriana, I have some good news and some bad news. The fuel, the diesel specifically, can be used for transportation right now. That is pretty much the only thing that is clear. Everything else is uncertain. So keep track of your receipts for those 8 weeks time. And if they extend the amount of time to use that money, for example, if it's 16 weeks or 24 weeks soon, then see how much you can use up based on whatever percentage they give you. Right now, that percentage is at 25%. So take a look at your loan amount, 25%. You can use that for something like fuel. For other transportation expenses, it's just plain unclear. So all in all, stick to fuel for right now, but hopefully, and this may be a good thing for some of you, they may clear up whether or not the rent portion of the forgivable expenses includes your business car. But right now it's completely uncertain, and I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer. Okay, the next one gets into the way that a lot of our minds probably work. You want to take this money, you want to take the whole loan, you want to use it and get it all forgiven. And many of you have subcontractors, freelancers that you pay. So the question is, this one comes from Jim. Jim's asking, can I pay my 1099 employees with PPP money? And the answer is no. They're supposed to get their own PPP loan. So Jim follows up with, well, can I pay myself and then pay the employees? And that's like one of those answers that is, it's entirely up to you what you do with your money. So for example, if your business is all online and you have to pay a web developer for some graphics or for some copy or whatever your business is, and you have this 1099 employee, if you're using 75% of the money to pay yourself, that money's your income. Then how you spend that money is going to be up to you. So the official answer is no, you cannot use the money to just go pay 1099 employees and then ask for forgiveness. However, if you are going to pay yourself and then that money is going to be forgiven, how you use that money is going to be entirely up to you, and that applies to everyone. Okay, this next question comes from Bill. It's along those same lines. It says, I don't have any other business expenses I can claim for forgiveness. What do I do? If you don't have any eligible business expenses like your rent, your mortgage insurance, your utilities, then the remaining balance of the loan is going to need to be repaid, essentially. It's a 1% loan. And so I'm laughing here because it's a 1% loan over 2 years. And some of you might go, well, that's 2 years. I got to pay this back. Where's the money going to come from? And then some of you are going to go, there's no prepayment penalty, and there's nowhere else in the world right now you're going to find a 1% business loan. Most of the time, those rates are way higher. Bill follows up with, can I pay off my truck with the PPP money? And you already know the answer. The answer is no. However, along the same lines, Bill, if you want to make sure you use all this money up, use all the money. Use it for your expenses and use it for your payroll, and keep everything above board and on the up and up. And submit your loan application and see what they say. The worst thing that's going to happen is there's going to be a 1% loan on the balance that is not forgiven. So I know what he's thinking with this car payment question. His car payment has an interest rate of something like 5 or 6%, and this loan here is 1%. So I can't tell you how to spend your money, but I see where he's coming from. That's not what the money's intended for, so I wouldn't advise using it for that. What you're supposed to do is pay yourself, and the remaining that's unforgiven will become a 1% loan. And there's no prepayment penalty, so you can give it back right away. Okay, next question comes from Deborah. Deborah asks, can I get home office expenses forgiven? Now, the answer is yes, but I want to give a shout out to another YouTuber. His name is JJ the CPA. He is posting videos regularly, multiple times per week, sometimes per day. And like his name sounds like, he's a CPA. Per JJ the CPA, his answer is no. And I'm not trying to confuse you here, because the answer is yes. What I want to say to you is that these expenses should be showing up on your Schedule C already. So if you have a home office, there is something called a home office deduction. And if you have already claimed that on your 2019 taxes, you're going to be able to have that portion prorated over those 8 weeks forgiven. The answer is yes. However, JJ, help us out here. If you're watching this, people need some guidance, and you're a great guy to give that guidance. Also, I'll leave a link down below to some of these same frequently asked questions that have already been answered, and I will link to the resources that I have found that help give you some of these answers so you can find some support online, not just taking my word for it. Along those same lines, I have found a resource that can help you track your expenses, not just for the purpose of a PPP loan, but we're talking for every single month of your business. There's a website, a company named Bench, that gives you professional bookkeeping solutions to help you keep track of all your financials. I've been using them as a resource for months now, and it's unbelievable. So I'll leave a link down below, like I said, to their website, and check them out, because tax season is extended. You might still have a couple of months from the time you're watching this video to get all that in order, in addition to the PPP loan forgiveness. So it might be a good idea to check them out. All right, let's wind this thing down. There have been some updates along the way. This PPP loan sounded great on the surface, and it's just gotten more complicated every step of the way. Initially, when I first heard about it and I was doing a couple of unemployment videos, I didn't even want to touch this topic, but now it's become so confusing. I'm here to help you solve this problem so you can move forward and hopefully get full forgiveness. Along those same lines, there's going to be more changes. As of this recording, the House has already passed a bill for PPP flexibility, but the Senate seems like they're going to change it slightly before it's signed into law. So stay on top of those changes. Let me know if you have any more questions down in the comments. I mentioned that Facebook group. Feel free to join that right now. That's growing every single week, and it would be really nice to have you there. Also, if you're new, welcome to the channel. Please like this video, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell. It really helps keep me going. It encourages me to make these videos. And again, I'm here to help, so I really appreciate it. Thanks. All right, thanks for watching. And as always, I'm Rich, and until next time.